Woo! It's cold today, but I thought I'll make this video quickly before I head out into the freezing cold. Man, I'm cold, but XRP is hot, hot, hot. It is getting started, guys. We are going to make it. We're actually going to make it. The inflows are coming in hard and fast. Let's start with the market sentiment, though. 15, just like yesterday, so we're still in extreme fear, but we're going in the right direction. Bitcoin hasn't budged since yesterday. It stayed in that sort of, in fact, the price is nearly exactly the same as when I made yesterday's video. However, XRP is jumped a little bit higher. So XRP outperforming everybody in the top 10 as expected. The market cap has dropped slightly though. It was about 3 trillion yesterday. 3 point something trillion. Now it's 2.999. Very small drop, but a drop nonetheless. So the RSI is showing as bang in the middle, not oversold, not overbought. So things are bang in the middle in that respect. The XRP ETFs though, man, XRP ETFs record $164 million inflows on first trading day. So the US Spot XRP Exchange Traded Fund ETF, that is, attracted $164.04 million in net inflows on Monday as the broader crypto market recovered from recent losses. The strong performance came despite overall market sentiment remaining in fearful territory. So people are scared, everyone's panicking, but the ETF inflows came in hard and fast, indicating institutional interest in XRP ETFs. So they want that exposure to XRP, but they don't want to worry about keys, wallets, and all the geeky stuff that we have to deal with as XRP geeks, holders, XRP armies, retail people that have been here for a while. So the Grayscale one saw 64.7 million and the Franklin Templeton one saw 62.6 million. So Grayscale edging it out a little bit, but pretty much about the same. And yeah, a lot coming in hard and fast. You can actually track all of the XRP ETFs directly. Obviously, you can track any ETFs here, but I've filtered for XRP. And you can see there's quite a few on the way, quite a few pending still. I don't see a BlackRock one anywhere here. Not all of them are spot, but you can see which ones are futures, which ones are spots. There's Pro shares coming. There's Coin shares. There's one from 21 shares. There's a Bitwise coming still. And, there's probably more to be submitted along the way. So that's that. The block, it's a website. There are quite a few of these trackers. They have access to the data feed, so they can present the data however they want. Now, moving on to crypto recovery. Texas buys Bitcoin. Originally, you probably heard that they spent $10 million buying Bitcoin. In fact, they allocated $5 million out of the $10 million budget to buy Bitcoin. This is the actual official tweet from Lee Bratcher, president of the Texas Blockchain Council, making Texas the jurisdiction of choice for blockchain and digital assets. First of all, I think the source of the correction came from his tweet and then corrected it an hour later. He originally said, Texas bought the dip. Shout out to Texas. Texas becomes the first state to purchase Bitcoin with a $10 million investment on November 20th at an approximately So they bought it at 87K basis. So that's a good price. They got a good price. They obviously at a slight loss at the moment because Bitcoin has dipped a little bit since then. But congratulations to the comptroller, yada, 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 and the dedicated investment team at Texas Treasury who have been watching this market. And then there's a correction to say that actually they purchased 5 million out of the 20 million. So if it dips further, they might then go in and buy the rest. So they're not going all in. I also read somewhere, I'm not sure if this is true, that they actually purchased an ETF. So BlackRock's ETF is what they actually bought, not direct Bitcoin. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to verify that and include it in the next video. But I can't see anything BlackRock here. Might just be fake news. But, Texas is kicking a lot of behind when it comes to Bitcoin now compared to the other states in the United States. Funny thing, my friend recently purchased some real estate in Texas, in Houston, that area. And this might turn out to be some of their best investment ever, because a lot is happening in Texas now. Obviously, Texas has always been the powerhouse of energy generation in the United States. But now, they're going into these sort of data. We're hearing all these data centers coming out of Texas. Obviously, there's also Bitcoin mining going there, even though in 2023, there was that extreme heat that happened over the summer that caused the Bitcoin miners to lose a little bit of money, hold back a little bit, because they couldn't run the centers at high capacity, at the highest capacity. They had to sort of cool off a little bit because of the heat, or shut some servers down, or what have you. I can't remember exactly what the details were, but they had some weather issues. This is why places like Siberia have, an edge when it comes to mining Bitcoin and data centers. Places like, I can imagine, Alaska, are places where the United States would be placing these things. But Texas has energy, right? And they can channel this energy into these data centers for mining Bitcoin or running data centers for AI. So as you can see here, Texas becoming a new center for American innovation, AI, digital assets. Major investors are choosing Texas first for our affordable energy. Exactly. Pro-growth climate and room to build at scale. So they've got the space, they've got the energy, they've got the political will. Everything is lining up for Texas being a powerhouse in the United States. So shout out to Texas, shout out to Texans, and shout out to my friend who's clearly going to make a lot of money from their real estate purchase. So XRP ETFs, remember that these companies, maybe with the exception of Franklin Templeton, aren't actually that massive. Their client base aren't as rich, and the pockets aren't as deep as, say, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Fidelity, and all those guys. Yet some of these inflows are already outperforming the likes of BlackRock and Fidelity with their Ethereum ETFs, for instance. Okay, now imagine when Fidelity, JP Morgan, and all of those guys also release their XRP ETFs, as it is inevitable. Okay, can you imagine the inflows, the amount, how deep the pockets are of those clients? And also remember that Ripple, and people have forgotten about this, yeah? Ripple owns Ripple Prime, used to be known as Hidden Road, which is a brokerage that is across the table from JP Morgan, Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, Citadel, all of these humongous organizations across the table from countries and central banks to whom they can shill XRP. Perhaps those guys are so deep in their XRP purchases or their plans for XRP that the ETFs aren't that much of a big deal. Do you remember that video that I showed you where somebody asked Larry Fink directly about XRP ETFs, and it kind of did this sort of body language, oh, I can't tell you, I can't talk about it, sort of reaction? Kind of shows that there's something cooking in that. I mean, like, how is BlackRock missing from this list? There's something going on, right? All of the big guys are somehow missing from the XRP ETF list. They're letting these guys front run them. Do they know something that we don't? I'm willing to bet. But of course, none of this stuff is financial advice. You should obviously do your own research. I bought the dip. It's what I do every day. And I hodl. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.